The aircraft on his radar had been dead for 6 months. N7439M, missing since September. No survivors. But there it was, flying, responding to radio calls. "Control, this is impossible," Chen's voice cracked through the static. "That plane doesn't exist anymore." The Twin Otter maintained perfect formation, just 500 feet away. Through his helicopter's window, Chen could see the pilot's face clearly. Captain Rodriguez looked exactly the same as he had 6 months ago. Not older, not different, identical. The passengers pressed against the windows, waving. 12 people who had vanished into the Bermuda Triangle. 12 people whose families had buried empty coffins. All of them smiling, all of them unchanged. Chen's hands trembled on the controls. His radar showed the impossible aircraft for exactly 37 minutes. Then it simply vanished mid-flight, leaving only empty sky and the sound of his own panicked breathing. But the ground crew saw them land. Honestly, if I were in that position, I probably wouldn't have made the same choice. What happened next would be classified within hours. The footage confiscated, the witnesses relocated. The official report would list it as a training exercise simulation. But Chen knew what he had seen. And when the medical examiner's report was leaked 3 years later, it confirmed the impossible truth that would haunt him forever. This is the account that allegedly emerged from classified testimony and witness statements that were reportedly sealed immediately after what became known as the Nassau incident. What you're about to hear challenges everything we think we know about disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle. If these claims are accurate, then on March 15, 2009, something happened that the government still refuses to acknowledge. Lieutenant Marcus Chen had been 3 hours into what should have been a routine search and rescue training flight when his radar picked up an aircraft that wasn't supposed to exist. According to every official record, Twin Otter N7439M had been missing since September 14, 2008. 6 months. No wreckage found, no distress signals, no trace. The response from air traffic control was immediate confusion. According to Chen's reported testimony, the controller insisted no such aircraft was on their radar. Yet Chen could see it clearly through his cockpit window, less than half a mile away. But something was wrong with the radio chatter. When Chen switched to the emergency frequency, he reportedly heard voices from the missing plane's cockpit. Captain Rodriguez was calmly requesting landing clearance, as if nothing unusual had happened. His voice sounded exactly the same as it had on the last transmission from 6 months ago. Chen made the decision to follow the Twin Otter down to Nassau International. What happened next allegedly challenges our basic understanding of time itself. As both aircraft approached the runway, ground control reportedly went silent. According to witness accounts, emergency vehicles surrounded the Twin Otter the moment it touched down. The passengers and crew were immediately isolated and transported to what sources claim was a secure medical facility. But here's where the account becomes truly disturbing. According to alleged medical reports that were supposedly leaked years later, every person aboard that aircraft showed signs of aging that corresponded to approximately 47 minutes of elapsed time. Not 6 months. 47 minutes. Their watches had stopped at 3:47 p.m. on September 14, 2008, the exact time their last radio transmission was recorded. The passengers' clothes showed no signs of extended wear, no fading, no deterioration. Their hair hadn't grown. Their fingernails were exactly the same length as when they'd boarded the flight 6 months earlier. If I were there myself, fear alone might have stopped me. Dr. Sarah Martinez was reportedly one of the first medical professionals to examine the passengers. According to unverified accounts, she described their condition as temporally displaced rather than simply missing. But what the passengers told her was even more unsettling. According to these alleged testimonies, The passengers remembered boarding the flight in Nassau, feeling a strange turbulence, and then finding themselves in what they described as a waiting place. The waiting place, as they reportedly described it, wasn't a physical location. It was more like being suspended between moments. They could see each other, could speak, but time simply didn't move forward, and they weren't alone. Multiple passengers allegedly described encountering entities that appeared to be conducting some kind of evaluation. These beings, according to the accounts, weren't physically threatening. They were simply observing, taking notes, asking questions about human behavior and civilization. From the outside, this looks simple, but I think the weight of this choice is massive. The questions, as reported by the passengers, focused on humanity's readiness for something the entities refused to name. They asked about our capacity for cooperation, our treatment of the planet, our ability to resolve conflicts without violence. Maria Santos, a passenger who was reportedly traveling to visit family, described the entities as appearing almost human, but with an unsettling quality that made direct eye contact impossible. According to her alleged testimony, they seemed genuinely curious about human emotion and decision-making. But perhaps most disturbing was what happened when the passengers asked when they could return home. The entities reportedly told them they were being held until a determination could be made. The passengers weren't prisoners, but they also couldn't leave until humanity had been properly assessed. Then, without warning or explanation, they found themselves back in the aircraft, approaching Nassau exactly as they had 6 months earlier. This is exactly the point where I personally would have hesitated. Lieutenant Chen's helicopter footage from that day was allegedly confiscated within hours of landing. According to sources, the recording showed the Twin Otter appearing on radar for exactly 37 minutes before disappearing again immediately after touchdown. But multiple ground witnesses reportedly saw the aircraft land, saw the passengers disembark, and saw them being escorted away by individuals in unmarked vehicles. The official report listed the incident as a training exercise simulation. All personnel involved were reportedly reassigned to different bases within weeks. Captain Rodriguez and his co-pilot were allegedly given new identities and relocated to undisclosed locations. The passengers, according to these accounts, were provided with detailed cover stories about spending 6 months in witness protection. Their families were told they had been found alive but required extended medical observation due to trauma-induced memory loss. In my opinion, bravery doesn't always mean moving forward. But the most unsettling detail emerged from Lieutenant Chen's final classified debriefing, according to sources familiar with the case. Chen reportedly told investigators that during his approach to the mysterious aircraft, he had briefly lost radio contact with his own base. For exactly 47 minutes, his communications went silent. When contact was restored, his crew reported that he had simply vanished from radar for less than a minute. Chen's helicopter chronometer showed 47 minutes had passed. Ground control insisted only seconds had elapsed. This suggests that whatever happened to Flight 447 temporarily affected Chen's aircraft as well, drawing him into the same temporal displacement the passengers had experienced. The implications of these alleged events, if accurate, extend far beyond a simple disappearance and rescue. If the passengers' accounts are truthful, it suggests that humanity is being monitored and evaluated by entities with technology that allows them to manipulate time itself. The waiting place could be a kind of temporal laboratory where human subjects are studied without their knowledge or consent. Maybe I'm overly cautious, but I wouldn't have done this. According to sources, similar incidents have been reported but never officially acknowledged. Pilots flying over the Bermuda Triangle have described aircraft appearing on radar that correspond to planes reported missing years or decades earlier. the official explanation for Flight 447's disappearance remains mechanical failure resulting in complete loss of aircraft and crew. No wreckage was ever found, and the case was closed in 2010. But flight manifests obtained through unofficial channels allegedly show that N7439M was returned to service in 2012 under a different registration number, despite supposedly being destroyed. This part of the story always makes me stop and think. The passengers from Flight 447 have reportedly maintained their cover stories, even among family members. But several have allegedly experienced ongoing psychological effects that suggest their memories of the waiting place remain intact. Support groups for temporal displacement survivors have reportedly formed in private online forums, though membership is restricted and closely monitored. Dr. Janet Morrison, a psychiatrist who allegedly treated several of the passengers under their new identities, described a consistent pattern of symptoms that don't match any known psychological condition. The patients reported feeling unstuck in time and experiencing brief moments where they seemed to slip back into the waiting place. 3 passengers from Flight 447 have allegedly gone missing again since 2009, disappearing from their new lives without warning or explanation. In each case, family members reported that the individual had seemed agitated and mentioned feeling called back in the days before their disappearance. Lieutenant Chen, according to sources, experienced similar episodes before his reported reassignment to a classified military research program. His final communication with family members allegedly included references to unfinished business and a need to complete the evaluation. If I were in their place, I probably would have taken the easier option. But the broader implications suggest that the Bermuda Triangle disappearances may not be random accidents, but part of a systematic study of human behavior and capabilities. If the entities described by the passengers are real, their evaluation of humanity appears to be ongoing. The temporary returns of missing individuals could be part of a larger data collection effort, allowing the entities to observe how humans adapt to knowledge of their existence. The fact that returnees are given cover stories and new identities suggests that someone within government agencies is aware of the situation and actively working to prevent public knowledge of the temporal displacement phenomenon. This coordination between unknown entities and human authorities raises disturbing questions about the nature of the relationship between our species and whatever intelligence is conducting these evaluations. Recent developments suggest the situation may be escalating. According to sources, the frequency of temporal displacement incidents has increased significantly since 2015. More concerning is the report that newer cases involve longer displacement periods and more detailed questioning of the subjects. Some recent returnees have allegedly described being shown images of potential future scenarios for humanity, ranging from technological advancement to environmental collapse. The entities reportedly asked the subjects to evaluate which outcomes seemed most likely based on their understanding of human nature. New evidence suggests the scope extends beyond the Bermuda Triangle. According to classified documents allegedly leaked in 2018, similar temporal displacement events have been reported globally. The Devil's Triangle near Japan and Alaska Triangle share characteristics consistent with Flight 447. Russian naval records allegedly document a submarine that disappeared in 1986 and reappeared in 2003 with a crew that had aged only 6 hours. Chinese aviation authorities recorded aircraft disappearing over the Gobi Desert and returning months later with passengers describing similar evaluations. This is where I personally wouldn't have taken the risk. The consistency across cultures suggests either unprecedented international cooperation in maintaining a hoax or genuine evidence that Earth is under systematic observation by non-human intelligence. More disturbing are reports that the evaluation process has entered a new phase. According to sources familiar with classified briefings, Incidents since 2020 involve more complex scenarios. Returnees allegedly describe being shown simulations and asked to participate in decision-making exercises. Dr. Elizabeth Hayes, who allegedly consulted on several cases, described concerning evolution in the entity's methodology. Recent cases reportedly include active participation requirements where subjects solve complex moral problems under time pressure. Recent returnees allegedly report feeling permanently changed. They describe enhanced awareness of global interconnectedness and urgent sense that humanity is approaching a critical decision point. To me, this decision feels more emotional than strategic. The most classified aspect involves reports of returnees given specific instructions upon their return. These individuals allegedly maintain contact with the entities through methods current technology cannot detect. Government agencies have allegedly identified approximately 200 individuals worldwide showing signs of entity contact without official disappearance. These people demonstrate expanded temporal perspective, suggesting the evaluation process no longer requires physical displacement. Recent intelligence briefings allegedly suggest the evaluation process is nearing completion. The frequency of displacement incidents has decreased since 2022, but reports of non-displacement contact have increased proportionally. This shift may indicate the entities have gathered sufficient data and are preparing to implement whatever decision they've reached about our species' readiness. This part of the story shows how fear can quietly reshape decisions. The cover-up allegedly requires resources rivaling the Manhattan Project. Multiple governments maintain specialized departments for identifying, monitoring, and managing returnees while preventing public awareness. But maintaining secrecy becomes increasingly difficult as affected individuals' influence grows. Some analysts allegedly believe gradual disclosure is inevitable. The passengers of Flight 447 were pioneers in an evaluation process that may determine whether humanity retains autonomy or becomes subject to management by beings whose intentions we cannot comprehend. Lieutenant Chen's footage may have captured when our species crossed a threshold from which there is no return. Whether that leads to freedom or subjugation remains determined by evaluations we never asked for but cannot escape. The missing 184 days represent more than lost time. They represent the beginning of humanity's final examination, conducted by entities whose patience and power exceed our understanding. The entities in the waiting place are still watching, still evaluating, still making notes about our readiness for something they refuse to name. And somewhere, in the temporal spaces between seconds, other aircraft may still be disappearing, their passengers joining the growing number of humans who know the truth about what lies beyond the boundaries of time itself.